Greetings, it's Deja Bliss. We're live today to talk about masculine and feminine. So, there seems to be some confusion that masculine means man and feminine means female. And of course, it makes sense that there could be confusion based on the terms themselves. But I'd like to distinguish, especially the way I have conversation about man and woman, masculine and feminine, that man and woman actually mean the gender bodies of man and woman, the way the chromosomes are dealt out at conception. So, woman is a body that turns into a female form with female genitalia and hormones. And a man is a body with male genitalia and so forth. Can you close that door?
Yes. Okay.
So, when distinguishing between the two, let's come to the awareness together that both man and woman, both genders, have masculine and feminine aspects or components within. So sometimes I don't like using this terminology because it's confusing. It's really like yin and yang in every body. The yin is the feminine energy and the yang is the masculine.
Coming!
Close that door behind you, babe.
Want to see the real master?
Woo! There's definitely some aggressive energy going on out here with the children, which is a masculine quality. So there is this outward energy, which is the yang, that is, it is aggressive, it is outward moving, it is dynamic, it has momentum, it is the action. So in the body, it is also the movement out, the externalization process of being. Whereas the yin is the internalization. It's the receptive, it's the contemplative, it's the intuitive, it's the inward flow, the inhale, if you will. The masculine is representative of the exhale. So both people, man and woman, both inhale and exhale. Both take in food and eliminate food. We all carry both these components. We are able to move outward in linear time and move inward and contemplate and reflect. Now sometimes we've said this whole, in reality, right brain, left brain thing, that, oh, you're more right brain dominant, or oh, you're more left brain dominant, which leads people to believe that they are more either creative or more like, logical in their mind. And even though we may be practiced in one or the other or have tendencies, experiences that lead us to utilize one of those aspects more than another. So the feminine components would be the creative, the musical, the intuitive, the more like artistic sort of venues. And then the left brain is the more linear, some would say mathematician, even though I feel like math has a very non-linear expression as well. But someone who would be a builder or create structures with the foundation that has like goals and so forth, that the artistic side is not so much about that. It's more like a spontaneous unfoldment. But let's be real, everyone has both of these components in our body. The goal of yoga, Hatha yoga, Ha and Tha means sun and moon. So Ha means sun, Tha means moon. And the goal of Hatha yoga is to balance solar and lunar energies in the body, which is really the masculine and feminine. The masculine is the solar, the dynamic, the bright, and the lunar is the feminine, the night, the internal, the quiet, passive. You see these terms, masculine and feminine, the more that we're learning to embody both, it seems like it's not a very good idea to use those terms because it can lead people down the line of feeling like uncomfortable in their bodies. So for example, I've had male clients come and they're starting to develop more feminine qualities like their intuition or So, or their emotional sensitivity, and then they're like suddenly going, oh my gosh, am I gay? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the answer is usually no, you're just becoming more aware of feminine aspects of yourself which you weren't before, or which society hasn't supported in man before, now is coming up both in man and woman. So women have had more time and support in developing masculine qualities. So women going into the workplace, that's doing a masculine thing. You know, women even just doing chores around the house or raising children, it is a masculine thing, even though there's feminine components. So the woman is more used to being intuitive. She's got her moon cycle. She is in tune with the feminine components, and therefore has kind of been trained in both things. Because the feminine was her natural, and the masculine was societally imposed upon her. So now, as the man is learning to activate his feminine, where a woman can look at a man and go, oh, this totally makes sense. He's activating both feminine and masculine. A man might feel less comfortable because society hasn't really prepared him to activate feminine qualities. And that's not true for all men. I mean, some men are very creative, are musicians, are super intuitive, and they've had to work more on maybe developing other masculine qualities. But that's why it's not bound to man and woman. You know, man has not just been developing masculine and women just feminine. No, it's like some men have been more feminine dominant and are learning to be both. Some women are more masculine dominant and are learning to be both. So to understand the difference between these is helpful. So I explained this in another video, but it's been a couple of years, so I feel like even though it's still on my YouTube page and you can check out, you know, I was talking about the difference between masculine and feminine then, I like to bring it into play now because we're a little bit deeper in the process, and that is in the cosmic perspective, the Shiva and the Shakti energy in Tantra, where it's described. Shiva is consciousness, all pervading. Shakti is energy, momentum. So this is opposite as this Ida Pingala, or as this yin yang, as it's manifest in the manifest world. It's mirror image, so it reverses. So when it comes into the body, you have masculine being dynamic and feminine being receptive, where in the cosmos you have masculine being the container and feminine being the creation. So as we're evolving as a species, and we're taking on both things in our body, both masculine and feminine, it actually becomes a more cosmic representative again. So when we embody fully, now the masculine energy becomes our consciousness. So our consciousness is holding space now for our feminine creative impulses to occur, which come from the depths, which come from the deep recesses, which came from that reflection time in the intuitive mind. And the action the masculine has done has prepared him to be able to stand in beingness. Because creation isn't even really doing. It's not even action. It's allowing. Creation is allowing. So where we've come from this masculine dynamic energy of linear time, because we're moving from this duality matrix to quantum life, now we're back to a cosmic usage of these masculine feminine dynamics, where always we have the space holding or the container, like the membrane of a cell, and the creative component that is bringing life force through. So we have that masculine feminine in every cell now that gets to pop in to any reality and allow that life force to pour through it whilst containing it into this specific manifestation. So we're learning to hold form and formlessness together like the yin-yang ball, that they are co-creative factors, part of one and the same, and that man and woman are just our body types. can learn to come into full acceptance with this is the way that this suit looks to me. This is the costume that I'm wearing. But inside, we're all holding both dynamics. And we're learning to work with them together. And then when we come into relationship with one another, we learn to throw that ball back and forth. We learn to hold space for the other one to create, and vice versa. One holds space, one creates. And then you're playing ball with intuition, like whose intuition's leading the strongest opening. The other one goes immediately into space holding or container holding. And that is the game of the masculine feminine within a dynamic. Okay, that's all I have to say on this right now. Any comments, please share. Thank you for joining.